Today we are talking about a legend in the making. In the making? I don't know, he's already a legend kinda, right? If he retired today, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer tomorrow, right? Is that the thing? Today we were talking about Alexander Ovechkin, because we had ourselves some news. I don't really know if it's all too, sad or anything. It's not really that, it's just more so inevitable. Like Thanos. So, Alex Ovechkin, 38 years old, still the Great Eight as we know him today. My goodness, look at all the gosh darn awards the guy has won over the span of his hockey playing career. But Alex Ovechkin making $9.5 million a year to the end of 2025-2026. He's got 2 more years after this season. This is a guy who, at this point in his career, everybody's been paying attention to this number right here. 836 is the current amount of goals that Alex Ovechkin has. And he is roughly 2 seasons worth away from catching up to some guy named Wayne. I don't know if you know who that is, but yeah, he's kind of good at hockey. Ovechkin has been chasing Gretzky this entire time, and this season he's only got 14 goals in 50 games played. A pretty big decline from the consistent 50-goal years that he continuously put up year in and year out. Even as of 2 seasons ago, he had 50 goals in 70 games played. But this season, though, had gotten off to a really rough start. Ovechkin really slowed down in terms of his overall goal production, but things have indeed gotten a tad better the past little while, as he did have just recently a 6-game goal streak, which ended off yesterday against the Montreal Canadiens. He got an assist, but still, Caps fans at this point only really care about the goals. You look at the game day threads, you see all these results, you see the L's, you even go to Instagram, you look at all the comment sections. Even if all these losses are coming in a row, there's a 3-0 win against Boston in there, and then 2 more losses on top of that, Washington fans do not care. They care about the Ovi goals. They care about the Gretzky record. That is it. And you could see recently that Ovechkin has sort of reinvigorated his game. This 6-game goal streak really was sort of a revival in a way, because he hadn't scored a goal in a month's worth of time before then. But new reports out of Russia. This is an article on sportsexpress.ru where I translated it from Russian into English. It goes over a few comments made by Ovechkin to interviewer Igor Rabiner, and pretty much Ovi goes out there and reveals his retirement plans, which is not surprising. Again, it's kind of inevitable. But it is interesting to see it written out on paper in this piece. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and read this article. It's short and sweet, it's translated, so let's go out there and read everything here. Washington captain Alexander Ovechkin said in an exclusive interview with SE that his partner on the Russian national team, Ilya Kovalchuk, can play pro hockey for another 10 years, unlike himself. Do you follow the KHL, and in particular, your longtime teammate Kovalchuk, who returned to hockey at the age of 40? I check the scores periodically, and Kovalchuk is great. We talked to him recently, getting ready for the playoffs. I think this man, with his health and approach to his business, he can play until he's 50 years old. The most important thing is that if he himself would want it. Could you reach 50, Ovechkin? And he says, no. Will you finish out your current contract in the NHL? And that's it? I think yes. And if you don't manage to break Gretzky's goal record, won't you re-sign that season? I don't like the word if. We live today, we play, and we move on. So, very simply, it seems like Alex Ovechkin may hang up the skates once this 2025-2026 expiring contract is over. And honestly, even if you had said, back in 2020, 2021, that this contract may be the last one Ovechkin ever signs, I think that's a pretty fair conclusion to go out there and make, mostly because look, he had already come off of a huge $9.5 million AAV contract that was however many gosh darn years long this was, so he had already been a Cap for decades. The fact that he is now 38 years old, still scoring at a goal pace that is, what is he at right now? Do the math on this. 22 goals is the pace. Okay, that's fine. Let's say he gets those extra 8 goals on the year and finishes off the season with 844 goals. What is the NHL goal record? I am embarrassed that I don't know that off the top of my head, but Gretzky has 894. Ovechkin is second. So, Do the math on that. Let's do 894, subtract, I don't know, 844. Ovechkin would need 50 goals over the next 2 seasons worth of play in 2024-2025 and in 2025-2026 to catch Wayne. And realistically, I mean, when was the last time Ovechkin had fewer than 25 goals in a year? It was 2020, 2021, where he had 24 goals in only 45 games, so that was a shortened season, not the same. This year he's on pace for that fewer amount, so who really knows here? The thing is, with Ovi, it is so easy for him to all of a sudden go on one of these trends. Just goal after goal after goal. He hasn't had a hat trick in a while. When was the last time he had a multi-goal game? November 11th, and he hasn't had a hat trick this season. Okay, that's unfortunate, but if there's anybody that's going to be able to prove all the doubters wrong and say, yeah, I still kind of got it, I'm still at the top of my game in terms of being able to put the puck in the back of the net, then it's Alex Ovechkin. Like, we see this time in and time out where the guy has a slow start and then in the back half of the year he really kicks it into gear. It's almost like he takes a while to get going and put himself in a better position. I saw a meme that people were tossing out there saying, oh, Ovechkin had this like bad first season, or bad first half of the season, excuse me, because he didn't want to be labeled as an all-star, so he wouldn't be fined or suspended for missing out on the All-Star festivities. He just straight up tanked his value for the first half of the year because he wanted to not be able to be eligible for that All-Star game. And hey, it started to work, considering the fact that he's now getting all these goals ever since that break. But either way, Alex Ovechkin going over to the Russian media and saying that once he finishes out his contract in the NHL, that's it. That's not really all too surprising. And there even was another article published on Russian Machine Never Breaks going over some of these same ideas. Chris Carullo wrote this article. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and read this one yourself. It's in English, so you don't need to translate this one. Ovechkin said back in October that he still enjoys playing hockey. As soon as I'm not enjoying it, that's probably not right for me to stay here and play the game the way I wanted to play. In the past, though, Ovechkin, who has an NHL contract with the Caps till 25-26, he has left the open possibility that he might finish out his playing days by signing a short-term deal with Dynamo Moscow in his 40s. Ovi got his start with Dynamo and even returned to the team during the 2012-2013 lockout. Now, it does not sound like the Great Eight is planning another return. The other big question, of course, is the Gretzky goal mark, and then everybody, talks about that same thing. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Alex Ovechkin conversation, how he has pretty much revealed his intentions that by the time 2026 rolls around, he'll probably be done. I mean, at that point, he's going to be 40, so it's not really like anybody's expecting much out of a 40-year-old, but if it's Alex Ovechkin, everybody knows that he's capable of doing things that very few human beings on this earth are capable of doing. So who really knows what the plan is going to be after, but for now, we've got this season, next season, and 1 year after that to see Alex Ovechkin hopefully suit up and get the remaining, 58 goals that he needs to pass the Great Eight and be on his way to NHL superstardom. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Alexander Ovechkin and his overall goal production, not to mention his retirement being revealed on the Russian media. Links are going to be in the description if you want to go ahead and read these articles. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.